All of Cadia Elite Battle 4. Well, this one is quite tricky because you have a tight turn limit, and you also have a bunch of enemies in trenches who won't particularly want to come out. And if they do come out, they'll probably run into another trench, so it's a lot of extra damage you need to get onto them in not a lot of time. Anyway, I'll get this battle started and then we'll carry on from there. Now, the first thing you'll note, 3 las cannons at the back, and we're going to need to get to them because they will be a big problem if they're not sorted out soon. Now, you could send Angrax in to one of these hexes right away, and you'd have to eat up 3 overwatch shots from las cannons, so if your Angrax isn't as tough as mine, he's going to be taking, well, even if he is tough, because las cannons have 60% pierce ratio, as you can see, they're going to be doing a minimum of 240 damage per hit, assuming they don't get shielded, which does certainly add up quite quickly. So what I like to do is send in 1 Terminator to soak up 1 hit, and then I will send in the other Terminator to soak up the other 2. So overall, not too bad in terms of damage. Oh, not sure why he managed to do that much damage. Maybe it's just RNG. So we've got our Terminators into position, which means we can now send up our squishier unit. And we'll move Harken here, because this gives him the opportunity to attack potentially 3 different targets, depending on which one might be the best, because I'm going to use Abraxas's active here, and its effectiveness is a bit RNG dependent, but we will soften up this guy a little bit. Soften up this guy, I think, is the best bet. And then we will use his active and see how it goes. So that's gone pretty nicely. Again, as always, caveat, shouldn't expect it to go that well if you have a low level active for Abraxas, which is kind of my hint for saying, get it up, get its level up, it's good. Anyway, let's continue. More summons, more meat bags out. Trap that guardsman. And that is that. Now, yeah, that went very easily for me, and I can't help it because of how good my abilities are, but the trick is to get the Screamers to spawn into the trench, because then they don't get the damage reduction from the trench when they're attacking the guardsmen. And once you kind of break your way into the trench like that, suddenly their defense falls apart quite a bit. And then it's just a question of working Angrax over to the las cannons at the back, and finishing those off once all the guardsmen are dealt with. Because the guardsmen don't like attacking in melee, so if you have a lot of summons everywhere, they will move out of the trench to attack the summons, which then makes them much easier targets to pick off. And hopefully, if you manage to do that, it'll be fine. Okay, that's the end.